All right, let's continue with our Africa focus. Now we're joined by Souayibou Varissou, Executive Director of the African World Heritage Fund. Thank you so much for your time, this afternoon, sir. And I'm terribly sorry if I butchered your name. My name is also just as difficult, but I will give you an opportunity to school me in just a short while. But having listened to my colleague earlier on, interviewing South Africa's High Commissioner in Ghana and hearing her quote, the late President Kwame Nkrumah, I was not African because I was born in Africa, but in fact, because Africa was born in me. I mean, those words are so powerful and they invoke such a patriotic feeling that we should all have for this African continent. Why are we not celebrating Africa enough every day?
Good afternoon, Lulu, and thanks a lot for the opportunity. That's a big question. It's probably coming from our colonial background, where our mindset has been forged by a number of occurrences, including the invasion of, all the digital technology and things like that, because nowadays we are talking of being global citizen without being able to always market what is our own heritage in the global market. I think that's probably one reason. And the other thing I think is that through our colonial journeys and all of our interaction with the world as Africans, we probably have models that are not always taken from home. And that may explain why, the fact that the 25th of May, Africa Day, being a prominent day, is not celebrated as it should be in all African countries. That I'm always amazed by a quotation at the airport of Johannesburg, Oliver Tambo International Airport, and they say, they call it Africa and we call it home, which is true. I don't have any other home. My only home is Africa, and I have to do all what I can to make Africa greater and bigger through the promotion of its identity, its heritage places, being tangible or intangible.
Absolutely. Of course, we're not only celebrating Africa Day today on the 25th of May, but it is the 50th anniversary of the World Heritage Convention in Africa. So, Mr. Varissou, just in honor of the anniversary itself, speak to us about the role of the African World Heritage Fund, in conserving especially the African World Heritage sites that we have across the continent.
Thank you. The African World Heritage Fund was created in 2006 in South Africa, following a decision that was made by the African Union Head of State Summit in Khartoum, 2006. It's an organization that was created following a strong movement that was led within UNESCO and within the African Union as a way to find a mechanism to see how the World Heritage Convention, for which we are celebrating this year, the 50th anniversary, can be better implemented on the African continent. You may know that the World Heritage Convention is one of the most popular convention within UNESCO system, within UN system actually, and that convention is aimed to recognize and give value to the most significant places in the world based on what they call the outstanding universal value. Those places have the potential to like if we are in South Africa, for instance, you have Robben Island, where Robben Island was put on the World Heritage List because it symbolized the triumph of freedom over oppression, over racism, and things like that. And you have other places like the hominid sites that we call Cradle of Humankind, put on the World Heritage List because that's where you have the oldest evidences of humanity in the world. And and so on and so forth. We also have natural sites. When we go, for instance, outside of South Africa, Victoria Falls, which is where we mostly Oatunia in Zambia, which is you have the quite iconic, falls, and one of the largest and the strongest falls in the world. You go to other places like Timbuktu, so you have a number of pyramids in Egypt. A number of places like that are quite powerful, and they are carrying African identity. But if we look at currently the World Heritage Site on the global list, currently the World Heritage list comprised 1,154 sites globally. African continent only hosts 12% of that. And that has been perceived as underrepresentation, given the richness of our continent, given also the diversity of heritage. You have a lot of places, including here in South Africa. For instance, the liberation site, the Nest of Nelson Mandela, is one site, one project that the government of South Africa have been working on hard. You have other places on the continent that are on what we call the tentative list and must reflect more what Africa is about, both from nature and cultural point of view. That's one thing.
Mr. Varissou, let me interject there quickly. I mean, I hear what you're saying in terms of underrepresentation, but where we are represented, we understand that some of our World Heritage sites that are seen here in the continent are placed under, and listed as in danger. So are we taking care of the one heritage sites that we should be taking care of it? And also, are we including communities as we wrap up the conversation very quickly, sir?
No, I think these are the other two main challenges that we are facing as Africa. Some work is being done to improve conservation and management of those heritage places, and and at the same time, for instance, in next week, actually, the African World Heritage Fund is organizing an entrepreneurship workshop at Lope Okanda Cultural Landscape in Gabon, which is an initiative to empower local communities. And we have that kind of intervention in a number of African countries. The issue of management conservation is a quite difficult one, because as you may know, there are a number of challenges, including around armed conflict and security, and even climate change, things that sometimes are beyond the control of heritage managers. But as if it's only a synchronic approach, symbiotic approach, that then involve different departments from, a labor department to public work to heritage department, being culture, nature, that will, for tourism, finance, that will really help to use heritage more as a resource and a source of identity on our continent.
Mr. Varissou, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. And before we started our interview, I actually forgot to tell you happy, Africa Day to you, sir. Thank you so much for your time.